Now it's a couple weeks before the archery season starts here in Southwest Wisconsin, and we're out moving around, getting our trail camera cards, switching some out, getting those last minute tree stand looks, just make sure there's no branches that have fallen in. And really it's a great time to do so because the mature bucks that I'm hunting are a mile that way, or half mile up here in top of the hay or bean fields, and they're really not focusing on this land yet. And that's actually a good thing because this allows us to get this stand prep ready. We're not spooking anything during the summertime. And then when that whitetail shift takes place, the end of September to the end of October, this is an awesome property that sucks in those mature bucks, and we get to not only see a large amount of these area bucks, but we get to shoot an unfair percentage of them because they're focusing on this 40-acre parcel right here during the hunting season and not during the rest of the season. Very few daylight mature buck properties out there, and this is one of them. And the 3 that I have in Southwest Wisconsin, so we're trying to do, that's what I try to help my clients do. All that being said, great time to be out here messing around in these stands and getting the woods ready for our sits and for our hunting season that's really right around the corner. And this is the last time we're shooting videos out here like this. The rest will be in the tree stands and on the way in and the way out. This stand location behind me, you have my Family Traditions ladder right here, Family Traditions stand up there, hunter safety system lines, safety lines all in. We're all set to go. This is one of the few stands on my properties that I could consider an all-day stand. Great morning stand. We're 300 yards away from food. It's a great midday stand. We got benches and cruising zones all around here where there's bedding area, bedding area, bedding area down there, bedding area below. We're in this kind of X of bedding areas right in the middle. We can access pretty non-invasively through this inner snowmobile road, and when we have the wind blowing in these hills that we can cheat, then we can get into the stand location pretty non-invasively, and I can expect a quality sit all day long during the rut especially. What is the value of your sit when you go out in the woods in your tree stand? You know, I'm looking at this is during the peak rut. You can get a value in the morning, midday, and evening, meaning if I want to look at a stand value of a 10 out of 10, I can get a 28 to 30 out of this stand sitting all day. But we have other morning stands over here. We have evening stands down below that are great stands for morning or evening, and not both. And so some of my favorite stands over here that rely on bedding area and local bedding area and nearby bedding area movement, outstanding stands to sit in till 1, 2 in the afternoon during the peak rut, pre-rut. But then as it gets closer to dark, the value of that stand diminishes greatly, especially that last hour or two when bucks are really moving. I need to flip down to an evening stand. So how do you maintain your values for each sit? During the peak rut, that's the one time deer are really moving around during the middle of the day, bucks, mature bucks. You could score it out of 30. So I'm looking at, does this stand, most of the time, that stand will offer some great movement in the morning between bedding areas and then great cruising opportunity during the midday, but that could be a real dud in the evening. So just because it's great in the morning, midday, doesn't mean it's gonna be a great sit in the evening. And I'm looking at, if I'm sitting in that stand that was great morning, great midday cruising, and it's a dud for evening, I'm wasting 0 out of 10 for that score for that day. And that certainly applies to the early season when really you only want to hunt evenings, except for special circumstances where you're on long movements that provide some acorns on the way from major ag maybe to bedding, and there's a 300-yard movement that you're hunting. You can slip in and out easily. You're not getting in near the bedding areas. But early season, great evening sit. A lot of times you can't get a really high score during the morning, and if you're blowing out an evening sit to sit in a morning stand, that's not a good thing either. When that transitions into the pre-rut, the value is all on morning and then a little bit of value in the evening, so make sure you choose your stands appropriately. Rarely is one stand good for all day. Then when you get in the peak rut, you might even be able to score your value out of 30, where you have really look at what is the stand doing for me in the morning, the midday, and evening. They might be separate. You might even find a midday cruising that turns into a great evening stand too, and you sit somewhere else in the morning. When you get into the post rut, a lot of times morning can be okay, but again, evening feeding when you're getting into gun season around that time is outstanding. Opening day of gun season, of course, I'm sitting usually all day for the first day or two. And when you get into the late season, huge premium on an evening sit, and you don't want to sit in a morning stand at that time, just like the early season, despite your evening sit, and great high value. So think about those values. We can get a 28 to 30 out of 30 in the right conditions in this stand. And we have our wind going back this way in the evening, morning, it's perfect. We're up high, so we can dictate where that wind goes. but a lot of stands, very, very few. In fact, I would say out of the 21 stands I have out on the 3 properties and 5 blinds or 4 blinds, whatever it is, I could really only say that I have just a handful. I would say 3, 4, 5 off the top of my head that could be considered true all-day stand sits. So think about those values when you go in the woods. Learn how to score those values and enjoy trying to hit that peak and maximum for each value of your sit during the day. And that could get into the frequency of those stands that have been used. Did you use it last week, the week before? There's a lot of other complexity that goes into that. But you know, what are your trail cams showing you? What's the local sign around each stand within the adjacent side? What's it showing to you? Learn how to score those stands, and hey, if nothing else, just know that you can score these. Maybe you don't want to think about all that math when you're out in the woods and all that planning, and you just want to go out and have fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what this channel is about, is having fun. That's what we try to do. And but if you really want to take it to the next level, learn how to score the stands, that it can be highly effective for you this hunting season and every hunting season beyond.